Okay, guys, you know what time it is. It's Q&A time, which y'all all have been waiting for. So let's get started. The first Q comes from someone who prefers to remain anonymous, and he asks a three-pronged question. First question, is there a political solution? No, I don't think so. Uh, there was a while I was playing with the idea of some kind of Francoism. I will admit that at some point that the notion of a Franco figure, somebody who kind of puts an end to this era of degenerate pseudo democracy, and takes over and basically rules as a dictator, but who is benevolent, who has the interests of that which is good, virtuous, and right. I played with that idea for a while, but and I still understand the attraction of it or the appeal of it, but no, I don't think that there is a political solution. The second question this person asks: what would be your response to the Wignat stance on abortion, namely that because it's mostly minorities who do it, therefore it should be condoned? For me, abortion is not about race. It is about human life, and all of the kinds of consequentialist arguments, they don't work for me. I don't. I mean, I'm in favor of demographic demographic homogeneity, because I just think that is the most. I mean, not 100%, but I'm in favor of adopting an immigration policy that assures greater homogeneity. But I'm not in favor of condoning abortion because more non-white babies are being killed. I just can't get behind that. Third question: which do you think are more dangerous, the mainstream media or QAnon grifters? Charlie Ward, Simon Parks, 107, etc. I barely know those people. Charlie Ward sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think I know those others. Anyway, the QAnon grifters who peddle hopium to their audience by telling them Trump and the White Hats have everything under control. Who do I think are more dangerous? Well, I think the MSM is more dangerous because there are more of them, and they have more power and money. And the QAnon grifters, as you call them, I don't know. Some of them might be sincere. A lot of them might be sincere. They might be credulous. They might have drunk the Kool-Aid, as they say. But then a lot of them might just be, as you call them, truly grifters. But I would say MSM is more dangerous and more worthy of our contempt and more worthy of being utterly destroyed, which I hope will happen soon. So Mongie James asks, do you like the Smiths? I don't know that the Smiths overall canon all that well. I will tell you that there was a time, I grew up contemporaneous with the Smiths, initial rise to stardom. I I guess it was a kind of stardom, mostly in the UK, but they had their fans elsewhere. And I hated them at the time because they just seemed like, trendy hipster music, and all the kids who wore Smith's t-shirts were just up their own assholes, basically, with how cool they thought they were, and stuff like that. We're talking back in 85, 84, 85, 86, 87. But I've grown to like some particular, and I think the Smiths music is an acquired taste. I think I can understand listening to it and just thinking, oh my God, this is just, why is this pretty boy caterwauling, in this way? And the music isn't this music sort of repetitive, and you know, but I think if you acquire the taste for it, you can see the appeal of it. I've grown to really like the song "Panic" a lot. I think it's a really portentous song. I find that it speaks a lot to, well, maybe more to now than to the age at which it was in which it was sung initially. And I think Morrisey, is a wordsmith. He's somebody. He's kind of like Sting. I like him better than Sting, but he's kind of like Sting in that he's like a hyper literate sort of guy in the middle of an illiterate music industry. And of course, I've grown to admire Morrissey a lot in the last few years for being his non-conforming self. And so I've grown to like the Smiths more, and I've grown to definitely appreciate Morrissey, just as a thinker, as a writer, as a songwriter, and also as a nonconformist, let's just say, and somebody who is willing to alienate his target audience because he wanted to take a stand on certain principles that I happen to agree with him on. So the other question Mongie James asks is, do you visit art galleries? And do you encourage your kids to be artistic, writing poetry, painting, and writing? I don't visit art galleries all that often. I don't have much of an opportunity to do so. But I can appreciate art. I think painted art, sculpted art is not my forte as far as what I appreciate. I like music. I like the written word, and film, and to a lesser extent, stage drama, plays and stuff when there's a chance to see them. And I think it's mainly through Shakespeare, a sincere appreciation of Shakespeare, that I've gotten that. In addition to growing up, being an actor of sorts in high school and college. But do I encourage my kids to be artistic? No, not really. I don't. I encourage them to pursue the things that make them happy. For my daughter, she's kind of an artsy person like me. She likes to draw, which I never did. I never drew. And she's a pretty good writer, although she hasn't really seriously tried her hand at that yet. My son goes in a different direction. But I don't encourage them to be artistic. I don't think it's something that's incumbent upon them. So that's that. So now to the comments that were left under my video where I said, hey, I'm a big deal now. I've got 600 subscribers, which is still less than, or a little more than an eighth of the subscriber count that I had in my old channel. But anyway, 600 subscribers, throw a party, Q&A party. That's what this is. Don't you feel festive now, now that you're watching this? Okay, so Igor, aka Solomon, asks, I would like to know, Andy, what to you is the fundamental reason for all the suffering, hatred, pain, sexual deviancy, anxiety, politicized exploitation in the internal system, underdeveloped states versus developed states, just the overall misery for humanity's dark existentialism. Original sin? I mean, I don't know. Everything I say in answer to that question is going to seem reductive, and it's not going to sound very satisfactory. You know, people make the wrong decisions all the time. People are drawn by things like greed, like lust for power, like lust for acceptance or validation, and that leads to all kinds of miseries. I don't know if I have a better answer than that. It's just a big question. That's really more of a question to be explored artistically than to be simply than for there to be an answer to. All right, but thanks for the title. Thanks for the question. Anyhow, Bonto Max asks, "Is YouTube boring now?" Huh. You know, I think there's still plenty of interesting. There are still plenty of interesting YouTube channels. It's definitely more boring than it used to be. It's definitely more corporate than it used to be. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is, you know, and I support alt tech and, you know, places like BitChute and Rumble and others. The thing about places like BitChute, Rumble, and Gab and whatnot is you go there and it's just like 100% anger and rage all the time. It's just like, you know, fuck Joe Biden. And I, you know, I don't want to, it's not good to stay, you want some kind of whimsicality. You want there to be some kind of break from all of that orgy of hatred. And don't get me wrong, I think the hatred is well deserved, but you just can't wallow in that hatred. You can't just be in that hatred all the time, or even much of the time. So that's why I would say a site like Gab, even though I support its existence, I think getting on Gab and scrolling Gab might be an occasion of sin, what we Catholics call an occasion of sin. You know, in the same way that going to a risque site with lots of sexual material would be an occasion of sin. You know, it's possible to see this stuff and not be drawn to sinful thoughts, but it's an occasion of sin, and that's something that it's best to avoid, occasions of sin. The same way, I think Gab or other places like it, for many people, are occasions of sin, but, you know, not the sin of lust, but the sin of rage, of wrath, of just losing yourself in anger, and that's what I would say. You know, that's the other side of the question of, is YouTube boring now? YouTube was best before before it became censorious, but also it was best then because you could still find whimsicality. You could find any kind of people saying any kind of thing, about any kind of issue. Uh, there was no censorship, 5 or 6 years ago on YouTube, but you also found, places like people like PewDiePie or whatever, people who were just there to do kind of silly stuff, and you could just have light entertainment. Um, but now everything is, you know, uh, it's like to find your good conspiracy theories, go to alt tech, uh, and also the thing, and that's fine, that's good, but to explore alternative explanations to things. But the downside of it is that there's a lot of undesirable vibes, the low vibrational energy, uh, to sort of quote Mr. Ike. He's the first one I heard talk about low vibrational energy. Just the kind of uh, and keeping you in this state of anger, hatred, and rage all the time. You can't stay there. It's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. Um, okay, I'm gonna stop there. We'll make it a part two, just because I don't want to skimp on anyone's question. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in a minute.